about this past week in the victory against South Carolina. As Tony said, they come down from 14 in the fourth quarter. Shows a lot of toughness from our football team. It's good the way we're winning too. 2 weeks ago, played great defense, maybe not as well offensively. This past week, played extremely good offense, and defense not as good as we can. Special teams has been steady. I think that's going to help us as we move forward. So excited about this week's challenge. Todd Berry from ULM will be a very tough task for us. They're a team that's used to playing the Power 5 conferences. They've won their fair share over the years, and it's a very well coached team. So we just need to continue to worry about ourselves and continue to improve. I think that's the good thing. There's an awful lot on this past film from this past week that we can improve on, that we will improve on. So looking forward and excited to move forward.
You've coached in a lot of big games in different situations through the years, but I don't know if I'm saying this right, but this was your team. This is the head coach. This is your team. How special was that?
Yeah, it is special. It is different, when you're the head coach. So as you said, been in a lot of great environments and big games, and certainly felt that pressure before. But as a head coach, it was special because the progress that we've made. We know we're better. Our team knows we're better. But until you go out there and win some of those big games, it's hard to quantify it. So I feel very good about where we're headed. I feel good for, as I said in the post-game press conference, I feel good for our players and for our fans and everybody in the organization. So it's good to move forward.
They got a lot of guts.
Yeah, they do.
With all the excitement after the win, the fans are to build up, all that, do anything special to get you guys refocused this week?
Well, yeah, I think we do a few things. We just, we're going to stay with the plan that we do, but the message will be a little different. And again, you've heard me say it before, and it's not lip service. I mean, they're going to hear enough good things from a lot of people, and they're excited, and I'm good with that. But they're going to hear about some of the negative too, because we knew it was going to be a big environment, and we stressed all week about taking care of the details and technique and not being too caught up in it where it hurts us, and that showed at times. And they're going to hear about that and see that. So that's the good news. There's a lot to correct from. There's still a lot more in this team. We could be a lot better. We're going to continue to work extremely hard to improve. Extremely proud of them. I've said that again after the game. Still feel that way. Feel so proud of the effort and the toughness and the resolve of this team. And that says a lot about what we're doing. But with that being said, there's just so much more to improve on.
Mark, along those lines, in the press conference after you just had your biggest win here, I think you said the word frustrated 5 or 6 times. You used the word angry once. Is that indicative of
I'll calm down a little bit.
Is that indicative of how much those defensive lapses in other games will come back to
we always learn. There's always things, there's always obstacles and challenges in each game that you have to overcome. So the good news is there's a lot of things we can get corrected and will get corrected. Some of that would be coaching. We need to coach better and put them in a better position and make quicker adjustments. Some of it is players need to play better. Some of it's the technique and the simple things that we talked about as well. So, so we'll improve.
Mark, already fast to kind of define your team so far this year until Saturday. You kind of put that up to some of the distractions with the big build-up into the game?
I don't know. I think you have to give South Carolina some of that credit. They took the ball and just pounded it down our throat, to start the game, and that takes some momentum away. Then on offense, we make a couple critical mistakes. And, else we move the ball, I believe. And we that's stuff that we can get corrected. And so you give South Carolina credit where credit is due. They came out strong. Our players, it's going to go one of two ways, right? So we again to show the toughness and the courage and the hang in there. And it shows a little bit about our conditioning and our mental toughness to be able to hang in there in the fourth quarter and come back and win like that.
Mark, you getting players back, 1 and 2, what do you know about the Brad Durham situation?
Pardon me?
You getting suspended players, are they playing, they're on the depth chart, are they playing, and what do you know about the Brad Durham situation?
About what's it?
Brad Durham?
I can't comment on any individual. You know, the players will be reinstated, yes. They'll be back in the fold this week, and they'll be back at practice, and they'll play in the game. With anything else individually, I can't comment on any specific individual, but I'll just say that, you know, with the great support and great energy we had in that stadium, it was sad to hear that somebody got injured. And definitely our hearts and prayers are with anybody that got hurt at the stadium.
But do you have to exaggerate, back to a point a few minutes ago, a little bit the bad cop angle this week when the players are going to hear outside the locker room all week about how great they are and where can they get Sugar Bowl tickets and all that stuff.
They do, and I don't play games, you know, that way. It's not coach speak, and I don't read it in a textbook, but they will because it's the truth. You know, we hammered that all week. We knew we were going to play well. You know, I'm not saying we knew we were going to win or lose or anything. We knew we'd play well. We knew we'd have an opportunity, and we knew there was going to be a lot of ups and a lot of downs. And we talked about taking care of your business, and a lot of times we didn't do that. So there's a lot more this team can do. We can play better, and that's our job as a coaching staff to get them to play that way.
Coach, does that defense sometimes tell you when it's time for JoJo? When it's time to do they tell you?
No, I think, you know, we always have certain packages, and like I said in the post game, if it's working, you're going to continue to run it on both sides. And, you know, like Coach Berger said after the game, I believe, so they told me it was one play. It was a little more than one play each way, but a couple sets on each. The offense was doing very well, and the defense couldn't stop. You know, and that's brought me to the frustration I was talking about before. And, you know, there's some things that they were doing well that we couldn't stop. There were some things we were doing well that they couldn't stop.
Did you follow up that line play during that time?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You're right about that. It's not just JoJo. I think he has a great feel for that, great vision, and he was very courageous and dug down deep and really made some, you know, played with great effort but in great vision. But the O-line did a very good job. That's the best we've played since we've been here as far as being physical and really playing tough. And so that was really good.
Mark, last year when you put together your recruiting class, I know you told some of those guys there may be some struggles on the field. Was it important this year, did you think, to get a class, to hold a class together, that you start to show some results to them? Have you seen a response?
As far as the new class?
Yeah, the guys you're recruiting now. Did you think that was important, and are you seeing some of that?
I think it's always important. You know, everybody may see what you're doing and understand that there's some progress being made, and I've never shied away from that. You've heard me talk about it before the season and everything, that you know, that I'll be judged on wins and losses. You know, everybody, and you know, it's a bottom line business, and we've got to continue to do that, keep on fighting for victory. So it's the same with recruits. Yeah, I think there's a lot of people that believe in what we're doing and how we go about recruiting players and everything we have in place to help these players once they get here. They see all that, but it is important to see some progress on the field. Sure.
Did you get a bump? Did you get a sense that that was big? What happened Saturday?
I did get a sense from that. I did. Yeah, because, and I said it in the post game, I believe. You know, but we have all, you know, we had it teed up pretty well where we had the enthusiasm, we had the stadium packed, we had a night game against the, you know, great, you know, traditionally very good SEC team at home, and you want to deliver, you want to play well, and you want to get a victory.
It seemed like Matt Elam made an impact several times when
he did.
How did you think he played?
He really did. After reviewing the film, that was the best Matt's played, and he's really starting to do some good things. He can be a special player. He's got to be more consistent with his work habits throughout the week, but Matt has a good heart, and it's our job to continue to motivate and push him to be a technician, but he really did play well in that game.
What did he do well?
He was physical at the point of attack. Inside, he was using up you know, a couple blockers at times and being disruptive in the run game. In the pass game, he did a nice job driving the center back and was getting in some windows and had a big deflection. So you know, he played the best he's played.
How big is that, given that, you know, your future opponents are going to look at that film and see what South Carolina did? They'll probably.
Yeah, I think it is, we have to look at ourselves and we got to anticipate certain things. We have been doing some good things in the weeks leading up to this last game as far as our pressures and our teams in 10, 11 personnel and what we were doing. And in big sets, it hurt us. And Coach Burr, they stayed in it because they were having success. There was no reason to get out of it. When they got to 11, we actually played pretty well. When they started spreading it and trying to throw it, we actually did some good things. You always got to look at what you're not doing well and get it fixed. And whether it be by scheme or be by personnel or technique, so we'll work on it.
Coach, how do you address Josh Forrest's game when he had such a high number of tackles, yet the running game for them seemed to
It's about how I've been talking about him all year. He did some good things, in particular, like late in the game. He's long and rangy and fast. He does a nice job in pass coverage. We need to be better in the run game. We need to be more physical, and at both linebacker spots. And not counting the outside backers, I thought the outside backers played very good. And Jason Hatcher did some good things. Hatch missed one tackle, but outside of that, he played a very good game. Inside, we need to continue to improve and play better. They did some good things. It's not just all on them as well. They did some good things, but we can play better, and they need to play better.
When you talk about the young players in key position, what gives you the confidence to say, I knew we were going to play well?
I feel like we've got the team is in a good place. They're practicing hard, they're preparing well. We've got enough pieces in place to play if we play on all sides. And that's what I said in my opening statement, why I think it's good to win that way. Because 2 weeks ago we played great defense and maybe not as good as we can offensively. And this week we played poor defense at times, and the offense did exceptionally well. I credit again Neil and DJ and the staffs. We're not perfect, but they do a nice job of coaching, and we do a nice job of playing for each other and being very united. The special teams have been strong all year, and that's what makes you optimistic about the future, because we haven't put it all together yet.
Neil said in the fourth quarter, the first time that he thought that the offense and defense both played well at the same time this season.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Well, obviously, when you get a 21-point comeback or 21 straight points at the end, that's true, and that's really the difference in the game. We did get a stop. We didn't have many, but I believe they had 3 and outs or under. They 2-3 and 1-2 with an interception, but that's the difference in a tight game. And the offense was able to capitalize on it. We did give them, even early in the game when we were struggling, we did get a 3 and out to give us good field position that led to the first touchdown. And that's what you have to do rather than let them continue to milk it down the field on us there. So, but at the end, yes, we got a couple stops, and the offense did a great job of converting, and that's the difference between winning and losing.
Mark, over the offensive line play.
I was a good question, but how fun from your perspective was that trick play? And
oh, that was fun. That was definitely fun. Like I said, during the game when Neil called it, I said, I like it. I just thought it was the right time at the right spot, and before we ran it, after we called it and was getting signaled in, I said, I like it. It's going to be good. And sure enough, it was. It's always good when it works.
You mentioned the offensive line playing really well. Zach West came back in that game. It looked like watching it back, there were some plays where he was pancaking his guy.
He really played well. That was the best Zach's played. And what's nice now is we have 4 guys inside. We've been playing with 2, where we had some injuries, and now all of them are getting back and getting healthy for the most part. So now we're going to rotate all 4 guys in there, and I think that helped us. And I think it helped us in the fourth quarter on both sides of the ball. We're starting to develop that depth. We talked about Matt Elam. I believe he played 20-some snaps, or right around 20 snaps, and he just resting some of those guys and developing those guys. Reggie Mint inside did some good plays. So we're starting to get some quality snaps from some of our backups, and that'll help us as we move forward.
Over the years,
I'm sorry.
Mark, since you've been here, I know you focus a lot about preparation, knowing how to prepare, learning to prepare. You said you felt good going into the game Saturday. You thought they played well. Did that go back to preparation? And where does this team stand as far as what you want about just preparing for it?
Yeah, I think we're really starting to understand that, and really like the way we go about our business. And they're focused. They've done a nice job for some positions being very young. They've hung in there pretty well, I think. we've got to continue as we build this program. Our older guys have really bought in and done well and been good leaders for us. We've got to hold them accountable to be better leaders and continue to push this team. I think, it's just been good. I think what we do and how we look at some of the sports science data and how we're practicing, I think has helped us. And I think, you just put all those things together and things are going well. We've got a long way to go. But after this game, we'll be midway, right? And so we've just got to continue to do what we do and improve in certain areas. But their attitude's been right in their preparation.
I was going to say, kind of segueing off that, you kind of partly answered what I was going to ask. But over the years, we've seen several false starts in this program. What do you say to the fans in the way of how you plan to sustain it? How you make it sustain it?
I can't really speak on, because we certainly didn't start fast last year with me here. So I don't know about that in previous staffs. I don't know. You know me, in that I talk about it, and it's true. I mean, we're back to this week. You know what I mean? It's a one-week season for me. We've got to go play well this week. And it starts over, win or lose. It starts over for us on Sunday. And that's the way we approach it. That's the way our team needs to approach it. And we do the best we can, whether it be the sports science and how we practice and what we practice and how we monitor their health. We do certain things, a great coach told me a long time ago, to be a good head coach, you got to have a great plan, you got to have a good gut. So we'll see how that goes out as the year goes on.
Coach,
talk about the
can't
SEC
speak.
race and being in the SEC race and being in the thick of it right now. Is that where you want to be at this
I
point?
don't comment on that. I don't.
Okay.
1 week. ULM. We need victories. That's the bottom line. I mean, it's just, we can't worry about all that. We worry about ourselves and getting better.
Coach, I know you can't speak for everybody else, and you do just have a game this week, but that was an electric crowd, and it was great, and that would seem like that is a huge help to everybody. And you talked about it a little earlier in the conference, but could you elaborate on that for the fans who did come to the game and enjoyed it?
Well,
it was electric.
as I said in the post game, it's just how much we appreciate it. The fans have really bought in. Sure, we like it packed, but we always have passionate fans, and it was a great environment. I know our players really felt that electricity in that stadium. Our recruits felt it. And it makes our team proud to go out there and play well and do the best they can. This team cares. Their hearts are in the right place. We're not perfect, but they're trying to do the right things.
Go back to the O-line question. Is there something about the Wildcat formation that lends itself to those guys blocking up really well?
Well, just sometimes, if you could get somebody removed from the core, you have an opportunity like on the one that we hit for a touchdown. You got the middle third guy out of there. But I don't know if it changes them. Their rules and all that doesn't change, and their mentality really shouldn't change either. It's just I guess some of the runs that we're doing, what we're featuring out of that, we had some good success with.
Mark, in layman's terms, why is that so hard to defend?
Well, when I talked to Neil, about doing some of that, because it had hurt me, and so over the years, some things that hurt you, and you say, look at this, because in certain ways you do it, it changes. It does change. We all have rules to go by on defenses, and when that stuff starts happening, when we move a quarterback in different motions, it changes things. And sometimes you have a hard time adjusting to it, and sometimes you don't. And we've gone to some things that we do rule-wise because of trial and error, some things that have hurt us in the past. So we look at it. So it's hard to explain. I mean, other than just it's not as simple as it looks.
Because it looks pretty simple.
I understand. Take it from a defensive guy that's been burned on it. It's not always that simple.
How much of that offensive playbook have you guys rolled out? Is there still more that you guys still have?
Sure, there's always things you can do. That's what I tell them all the time when I do sit on the offensive meetings. I'm like, this is what you guys do. This is fun. Just draw stuff up and make defensive coordinators crazy. Yeah.
Mark, for all the attention on those young freshman skill position players, how nice was it to kind of lean on the older guys on Saturday and see those guys step up and play?
Extremely important. They've been great, and they've been leaders, and they've been working hard, and we're all one team. I know a lot of people talk about that a lot, and, you know, the guys that came in or this or that or whatever, they're all my guys. I care about all of them, our coaches do, you know, and we're trying to do the best we can for all of them.
Or anything you want to put that in Montgomery?
Pardon me?
Anything you want to put that in Montgomery?
No, continue to work and rehab and run around, and they're doing some things. If they were 100% and ready to practice 100%, then I would have a decision to make. At this point, they're not 100%.
Does that sort of make the decision for you? You're going to look like
We'll
it's
see.
week
I'm not
6.
ready to put that on them. I think these guys, they read these quotes too, and then they lay off. I need them to get back 100%. They're ready to go.
Does some of that depend on, you know, your current guys staying healthy too?
It does.
Mark, I thought a huge play in the game was Landon Foster when he flipped field position in the second quarter. How big a luxury is it to have a punter that's been as good as he's been?
Very. Yeah, you take him for granted sometimes, you know, and people don't talk about him much, but he is so solid, along with Kelly Mason and Kelly Mason, and just that whole unit. Coach Nyber has done a great job with special teams. He really has. We've been really solid. I thought, you know, the guys have been really motivated and very unselfish and playing well in special teams.
How much does it help having JoJo being able to run out of the Wildcat?
It helps, and I think it just, some guys have a good knack for it, good patience, and good vision, and he's been very effective out there.
Everybody good? Mark, there have been a number of upsets in the conference this past weekend. And isn't that those teams that are stuck up, you guys are stuck up, and other teams have come down? Speak to that point forward.
Well, I just think it's the great parity that we're starting to get in this league, and that's what we, you know, it's a very tough conference, and there's not a whole heck of a lot of teams going backwards. Everybody's trying to move forward like we are, and doing everything we can to improve our program. And I think you see that from a lot of the teams in this league.
Mark, you mentioned ULM earlier. Is there anything in particular about them that concerns you?
Well, I just think, again, they're not intimidated coming into an environment like this. They are so used to playing big teams, and the past 3, 4, 5 years they've had big wins. They've played SEC teams very well, beaten SEC teams. They've come within one possession of beating other SEC teams. Coach Berry does a great job, and his staff. You just see a very good, strong football team, fundamentally sound, creating problems. They're an odd front defensively. They do more of a 3-3 stack concept. We'll see offensively, they just do a nice job where they really spread the field on you. So when teams are really spreading the field on you like that, you can't give up gashes in the run game, because your guys are so removed, so your support from the second level is coming from a long ways away. So we have to play good up front. We got to be sound in what we're doing, and again, with all that space, we can't let them get free in the secondary. So they're good at what they do. So we just got to, again, have a great week of preparation and worry about fundamentally getting better in certain areas.
Anyone else? All right.
Thank you.